Welcome, everybody, to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper. Wow, the pandemic was really quite an experience. Personally, honestly, when lockdown hit, I thought I had about 60 days and I would be out of the job because I thought I was really expendable. To my surprise, the opposite happened. My rang off the hook. My phone rang off the hook like a Christmas tree because there were a lot of people that were really struggling. That said, through the pandemic, it was fascinating to me, a dynamic that's taken place that I kind of want to share because more and more I'm getting calls on this topic. So the ADHD brain doesn't like to be uncomfortable. Boredom is uncomfortable. And so when the pandemic hit, and let me also say, human beings are social animals. We prefer to interact. So when the pandemic hit, and everybody was sent home from school and work, you went home and there was a lot more boredom, a lot less interaction, a lot less stimulation. And so many turned to different things or vices to occupy their mind. Some drank more, some smoked marijuana, some played more video games, some got on social media, etc. And more, in fact, somebody during the pandemic made a comment on one of my YouTube videos, is that, you know, their attention span has shrunk down to 5 minutes because they can't even watch a sitcom anymore, because they were getting so used and conditioned to constant stimulation by YouTube or, like I said, other social media. And more I'm having people that are coming to me that are struggling because they're so used to that constant stimulation, they built up a tolerance to it, and anything else is actually kind of boring. And for some of you, this is going to go right over your head, but some of you might actually kind of get this, is that when you have a drug, if you will, what happens is like if you have cocaine, your brain releases dopamine when it takes cocaine, which is the feel-good neurotransmitter. And what happens is, as a survival mechanism, part of the brain mutes out some of the dopamine and as a protection kind of mechanism. So to get the same feeling, you got to take more cocaine. It kind of builds up over a period of time. In a weird kind of way, same things happens with some of these other things, whether it's alcohol or YouTube videos or social media. And so what happens when you go through detox is you remove those things. And what happens is the brain is uncomfortable at that time because it's used to those stimulating type things. So you go from a time of comfort to a time of discomfort. Oversimplifying, going into detox facilities, you go through this withdrawal period because you're physically uncomfortable for a while because it's uncomfortable compared to what you were. As time goes on, the brain makes an adjustment and recalibrates itself to deal with another normal. I'm saying this because more and more I'm finding people have no toleration for boredom at all, and things that used to be interesting to them before the pandemic are no longer interesting. And as I say, is at some level, there's lots of stuff out there that's really, really good, but you can't compete with some of these things that's instant gratification. Question is, what do you do? Well, there's really kind of no getting around this. At some point in time, you have to have some self-awareness and back off of it and or abstain from it. I've coached parents before that, you know, they didn't want their kids on electronics. And I said, well, if you're going to take them away, you need to be ready for a shit show for about 2 days because there's going to be some discomfort. And if you give in, it'll be a bit of a problem. Anyway, why am I saying this? Is that to have the self-awareness is there's a lot of things out there that you're not doing anymore that you used to do. You might have built up a tolerance around these other things, and get serious and maybe have to go through some type of detox or mini detox in order for you to get back to a level of excitement of those things that will satisfy you. If you're new to our channel, please hit the subscribe button. Oh, by the way, what I just shared with you is just a little bit of my understanding. I don't want to represent my opinion as fact here, but in talking to bits and pieces of experts, I put that together in a way that maybe we can make some sense of. So let's go back to, if you're new to our channel, hit the subscribe button. Also for our viewers, what do you think? I love your posts, and we do what we do for you. If you're so compelled, we certainly like a contribution by hitting the thanks button. So with that, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.